Awesome. Thank you, Judah. All right, guys, we're going to rock and roll on the program here. Show will start in a couple minutes. We're getting the shows up and running on all the social media and podcasting platforms. Jerry Ratcliffe is in the house. Jerry Ratcliffe is in the house, the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. The ACC tournament is upon us. Tip-off minutes away. Mere couple hours away. Virginia does not play until Thursday at high noon. Its opponent is TBD. They have the 2 seed, the Wahoos, and the double bye, which is awesome for recovering from nicks and bang ups and stress and any kind of injuries that are at this time of year. But most importantly, it just gives the Wahoos a reset opportunity mentally as they head into what is undoubtedly the most important stretch of a very long college basketball season, the ACC tournament, and then the big dance. We're going to talk Virginia hoops and how the Wahoos are trending heading into the postseason. I'll ask Jerry Ratcliffe that question. We will also talk on today's show the all-ACC teams that were announced. De Ridder, the 23-year-old Belgian bully, first team all-ACC, surprised me. I expect second team for that. I'll ask Cootie Ratcliffe if De Ridder on the first team surprised him in any capacity. He was also named to the all-freshman team, which I found some humor in that one. Because he is 23 and played professional basketball, but I guess by the letter of the college basketball law, he is a freshman. Hugo, third and defensive player of the year voting, yet he garnered the second most votes for first team all defense. Perhaps the most surprising thing from the all-ACC team was all-ACC teams was the fact that Ryan Odom finished third in coach of the year voting. I did not expect him to win. Frankly, I thought Scheyer deserved to be the ACC Coach of the Year. I understand the argument against Scheyer being ACC Coach of the Year is the fact that he has all-NBA talent on its roster, including maybe the best college basketball player right now in the Boozer kid. Still, he's going to have to coach him up and get him to victory lane, and he did that this year. And it's hard to argue against Duke not being the best team in college basketball right now. We'll talk about that on the show. We will also talk, ladies and gentlemen, spring football. We have a date for the spring game, ladies and gentlemen, spring football on the 18th of April. So we are about a month away from spring football. Judah Woodcower is behind the camera. Judah, how you feeling over there? You would appreciate it, Judah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sincerely mean that, J-Dubs. I think we can rock and roll, J-Dubs, when you're ready. Welcome to the Jerry and Jerry Show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on a Tuesday morning in downtown Charlottesville. We are less than 2 miles away from the John Paul Jones Arena, less than 2 miles away, ladies and gentlemen, from Scott Stadium and the Dish. So much to cover on the program, including the start of the ACC basketball tournament. This is wild to say, my most favorite week of sports is the ACC basketball tournament. The intimacy and the fact that we know all the teams extremely well in the ACC, and the fact that they play games so closely together, grouped together, really captivates my attention. I have fond memories growing up in Williamsburg, Virginia, watching the ACC basketball tournament at school, where the teachers would wheel the TV stand. You guys remember back in the day with the rear projector televisions, they would show up on this like cart, and there would be like the VCR on the second level and the rear projected TV on the top level. And they would push the cart into the library or into the senior lounge, and we would sit there and watch the ACC basketball tournament for hours during school. And it was just an awesome time as a sports junkie, as a Virginia fan, to watch sports, especially when we were supposed to be learning. The Who's have a double bye. They don't play till Thursday at noon. Their opponent is to be determined. We'll talk about that with Jerry Ratcliffe, the namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com. We'll talk the All-ACC teams today, including DeRitter earning first-team recognition, Hugo earning all-defensive recognition, and he was third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So much to cover, including Ryan Odom and his position or pecking order in the Coach of the Year ranking with the All-ACC team. And we have baseball as the Wahoos took 2 of 3 from North Carolina, the 8th-ranked team in the country, and host Virginia Tech this weekend. Judah Wickhauer is behind the camera. He needs no introduction. No introduction at all, and certainly the star of our show needs no introduction. He is Jerry Ratcliffe. He's a friend. He's a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. He's covered the ACC tournament for more than half of a century, and he's got a website called JerryRatcliffe.com that is now pivoted to a paid model, a subscriber model. And I'm going to tell you, as a subscriber myself, there is no UVA sports content that is more compelling, captivating, or share-worthy than Jerry Ratcliffe's content at JerryRatcliffe.com. If you're a Wahoo fan and you're not subscribed to it, you are missing out. It's the best $8 you will spend every single month. I sincerely mean that. Judah Wickhauer, studio camera, then a 2-shot, as we have a handful of states watching the program already. Questions already in the feed. Good morning, Hootie Ratcliffe. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Hope you are.
I'm doing well. It's great to sit across from you. We start every show with scatter shooting with Jerry Ratcliffe.
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned they used to cart out the TV into the auditorium or whatever to watch the ACC. I think that was universal back in the old ACC when there were only 7 or 8 teams. We had Ryan Odom's wife, Lucia, a delightful lady, on our podcast, the Hootie and JJ show this past week, and she talked about that she went through that too in school, that they would bring in the TV so you could watch the ACC tournament. She grew up in North Carolina, so I think that was a big thing back then. And the only other time I remember something like that in my school days is they would do that for the World Series. I doubt they do that anymore. But probably not, because most of the games are like 9 o'clock at night. But it's been an interesting week with all the topics you mentioned in the introduction. With Ryan Odom finishing. Did he finish second or third?
Third.
In the voting, yeah.
Lucas second.
Surprised
me. I expected Shire to win it.
I kind of thought he would, although I would have. My vote went to Odom.
Same over here.
Just because of the task he had to overcome, all the obstacles he had to overcome, and Shire had a different set of obstacles. He collected great talent and had to win with it, which he did a great job of doing. And I think even though this Duke team probably doesn't have the overall talent that last year's Duke team did, this might be a better team just because it seems a little more focused and maybe a better defensive team than last year. But.
And it's funny, we now have some breaking news. This is literally just across the wire. You're talking Duke basketball. This literally broke 4 minutes ago. This is courtesy of ESPN. Duke men's basketball coach John Shire announced that Caleb Foster suffered a fracture in his right foot and is out for the foreseeable future. He had surgery Sunday morning. Wow. Shire also announced, I'm going to mess up his last name, Patrick Nangba is out for the ACC tournament with foot soreness, but is hopeful for a return for the NCAA tournament. Wow. These are 2 of Duke's key contributors, Absolutely. And the playing field has just become much more even.
Yeah, I mean, he that's their big man, and he's a difference maker down in the paint. So That's a real blow to Duke basketball for sure, losing those two guys for the ACC tournament.
Unbelievable.
It certainly opens up the field a little bit more.
Opens up the field indeed, viewers and listeners. To put into perspective, Caleb Foster is averaging 25 minutes a game, 8.5 points a contest, 3 rebounds a contest, 3 dimes a contest. He is a key contributor on this basketball team, the third most minutes logged of any. The center, their big man, as Hootie has said, 11 points a contest, 6 rebounds a game. He's a shot blocker at a block a game. His field goal percentage is the highest on the team, more than 60% from the field. He is logging 23 minutes a contest. Duke and its head coach, Jon Scheyer. If you're just tuning in, Caleb Foster looks like he's out for the rest of the year with a fracture in his foot.
I would think so.
Out for the foreseeable future is how Jon Scheyer has put it. And Duke's center has foot soreness and is going to miss the entire ACC tournament, Hootie.
Wow, that is big news. Not many people have had that kind of bad luck heading into the ACC tournament. Virginia's had a couple of injuries in the past that on the eve of the tournament that has hurt them. Hunter,
DeAndre Hunter
years ago,
yeah.
And a few others. But to lose two guys like that on tournament week, that's pretty hard to overcome.
A significant storyline right there that is even the playing field in the ACC tournament with top-ranked Duke losing two of its marquee players. Jon Scheyer, the ACC Coach of the Year, Ryan Odom, third in the voting. DeRidder, first team All-Conference. Did it surprise you DeRidder was named first team All-ACC?
I felt he deserved to be first team All-ACC. Certainly, I voted that way. Was I surprised a little bit just because sometimes it's tough for a Virginia guy to make it with so many people voting from the state of North Carolina. At least that's the way it used to be. I'm not sure how it's broken down these days, but I know Terry Holland used to argue you have to be twice as good as a Virginia player to get the votes, and I don't know if that still rings true or not, but I'm sure to some degree it does. But I think he's very deserving of the first team, and I felt that way all along, and I was glad to see that it happened.
Renee Pettiford is watching the program in North Carolina. She says, I cannot wait to listen to the Jerry Ratcliffe, the J&J Show podcast with Lucia Odom. I just shared the link to the podcast featuring Ryan Odom's better half, Lucia Odom, that Jerry Ratcliffe and Jeff Jones executed and hosted and produced and now published on the Jerry Ratcliffe website in the comments section of one of the Jerry Ratcliffe Facebook pages. In fact, what I'm going to do now, viewers and listeners that are watching the program, I'll share that link in the comments section of the second Jerry Ratcliffe Facebook page now. It is fantastic. The content behind the paywall is absolutely superb. You're not going to find it anywhere else. The Hugo News, this is interesting. He finishes third in Defensive Player of the Year, yet he finishes second in all defensive team voting.
Yeah, I don't get that.
How does that work? I mean, you're the Hall of Famer here.
I don't know how they calculate that, but
and I'll give you the numbers and then get out of your way here. He Defensive Player of the Year voting and went to Malik Brown.
Right.
He's the transfer from Syracuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had 25 votes.
Who considered coming here for a while.
He did. He considered coming here. Dame Sarr, Duke, second, 15 votes. DeRidder, third, 13 votes. Also, interestingly, it shows you how good he is. Cameron Boozer was fourth in Defensive Player of the Year voting with 10 votes. Then you go to Defensive Player of the Year, or the all defensive team. Malik Brown first, 63 votes. Hugo second, 58 votes. Then B.J. Edwards third, 55 votes. And Dame Sarr Duke fourth, 48 votes.
Yeah, it's a different voting category. So you vote for
One,
the
two,
all
three, right?
defensive team.
Yeah.
And then you vote for defensive player of the year. So it doesn't intertwine in that regard. So I was glad to see Ugo make it. I know Ryan Odom was pushing for him to be ACC defensive player of the year. And it would have been deserving. I mean, he's by far the leading shot blocker in the conference. And
splitting time with Grunlow.
yeah, I mean, he only gets 17, 18 minutes a game, I think, something like that. But and the fact that we've talked about this before, it's not only the shots that he blocks, but it's the shots that he alters and the shots that he discourages from being taken in the first place, because a guard will come down into the lane, be funneled down into the lane a lot of times, and he'll look up and see Ugo and say, oh, well, and just throw it back outside. So that's a shot not taken that is impacted. And it was funny, Ugo the other day after the Tech game said that he loves to see the fear in guards when they come down into the lane and see him standing there.
Ugo's charming. He's funny.
He is.
He's affable. He's approachable. He's like almost a gentle giant off the court. I was watching after, and I hate the CW broadcast, but I thought they did a pretty good job this time. I'll give credit where credit's due. The Virginia
Was
Tech.
that Mike Jaminski on that?
I do not think it was Jaminski.
Jaminski's really good.
But afterwards, he sat with the broadcasters in the middle. He's like putting his arm around the guys and just
That would be Ugo.
and just like a gentle giant. He was very likable, Ugo. I was very impressed with him. And he made reference, and you cover this on JerryRatcliffe.com. When I got to UVA, Ryan Odom has instilled so much confidence in me. Lets me shoot the 3-ball. And then he talked post-game in the presser. I'm shooting it without thinking about it now. I'm just letting it fly. He's got a good-looking stroke.
He does. Yeah, and Ryan didn't know that until he actually got here and observed him shooting in the practice gym and said, hey, you can shoot the 3? He said, yeah, but the people at Kansas State wouldn't let me shoot. They told me not to shoot the ball. So those people really screwed up. They had a diamond in the rough and didn't know what to do with it. But Ryan Odom and his staff have brought out the best in Ugo and given him the confidence. And he's going to be in the NBA. I'm pretty confident of that.
I think he's said it from day one, week one. Any guy on that roster, he's got the most NBA upside. Now, there's been times this season where you can see catching the ball sometimes is difficult for Ugo, especially in traffic.
Yeah, if he has a deficiency, that would be
the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he makes up for it with. I mean, can you imagine Ugo with more game experience and getting this guy's been playing basketball since he was 13.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So he is not like he's been playing like YMCA basketball or AAU basketball or rec league basketball like American kids since they were 4 years old. Mm-hmm. He's been playing basketball for 10 years. So once he gets the playing time and the experience that comes with the playing time and the anticipation, the sky is the limit. He can run, he can jump, he can finish, he can block. He's a team player. He's selfless. He's going to be a great locker room guy.
Yeah.
He's a clear-cut 7 foot and change. He's long. He can still put muscle on his body. He's got a nice-looking jump stroke, nice little jump shot. If this guy can get with another big man who could show him 2 or 3 moves, I mean, can you imagine Ugo with a hook shot?
Oh,
it would be devastating.
It would be, yeah.
Like a little. I'm not even saying like like a little baby hook.
Yeah. No, that's something that he can look forward to at the next level. It's learning, developing a shot like that.
Or Ugo in the NBA on the pick and roll, and we see it with Chance.
Oh yeah.
When Chance pick and rolls with Ugo and throws it and sometimes Chance is throwing the ball. I mean, I don't know how you can throw it too high for Ugo. A couple times Chance has done that, but Ugo on a pick and roll with an NBA point guard. like a Jalen Brunson. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. You can overthrow anybody. Jeff Jones told me once he threw one at Ralph.
That was too high.
He didn't think anybody on earth could catch that ball, and Ralph went up and got it and slammed it on the way down. But it can happen every now and then.
Absolutely. Renee Pettiford's got questions for you. Viewers and listeners, put your questions in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. She wants to know, with Duke's announcement that 2 players are out for the ACC tournament, can UVA win this ACC championship? And if you're just tuning into the program, we have breaking news. John Shire has announced that Caleb Foster suffered a fracture in his right foot and is out for the foreseeable future after having surgery Sunday morning. I would imagine that's Caleb Foster missing the NCAA tournament as well, but certainly the ACC tournament. And John Shire also announces that, Patrick, you help me with his last name? Nyungba?
I think that's right.
Is there the Duke center is out for the ACC tournament with foot soreness. So Duke is missing 2 key guys on its basketball team for the ACC tournament. Can UVA win this now?
Oh, yeah, they could. And they're not the only ones. I think Miami's capable. I think Florida State's capable. If Louisville gets hot, possibly. I can't say a lot about Clemson because I have seen very little of Clemson this year, and Virginia didn't play them. So, but North Carolina, if the basketball gods smile upon them, this opens the door big time for the rest of the contenders at the top of the league. All you got to do is get hot for 3 games, and it might be hard. Winning the semifinal game is going to be a big deal because whoever wins semifinals, I mean, you got a question at this point. Duke could possibly get knocked off before the finals. So, yeah, Virginia could definitely win it if they play their best basketball.
Comments continue to come in on the Jerry and Jerry Show. This is from Mark Brown, a diehard UVA fan. He says the Jerry and Jerry Show is the highlight of his Tuesday. The North Carolina baseball team really surprised me. What's happened to the once great lacrosse team? They've been insignificant. We'll get to those storylines in a matter of moments. Virginia baseball takes 2 of 3 from number 8 UNC, and Virginia baseball hosts, ladies and gentlemen, Virginia Tech this weekend. And goodness gracious, you talk about a fall from the top of the totem pole. Lars Tiffany, his lacrosse program, Hootie, has seen some much better days.
I think they've struggled in goal this year from what I've heard. I haven't seen the game. I've been so focused on basketball. That's the tough part about seasons intertwining like this is sometimes you have to put baseball and lacrosse and things on hold until basketball is done. And it almost makes you wish that they would go to a little bit later seasons in some of these spring sports and continue on into June or something instead of and I understand why they don't, but from a spectator standpoint, it would probably be better because the weather's so iffy at the beginning of those seasons, and most of the people's focus is on basketball if you're having a really good basketball program.
The lacrosse team is 3-3 going into Saturday's matchup against Maryland in College Park, with losses in the Doyle Smith Cup to Johns Hopkins, 14-13, a loss to the Richmond Spiders, who are now a perennial power. The Richmond Spiders, the Who's got shellacked, 18-12, and perhaps most concerning, a 13-9 loss to Townsend in Charlottesville. I mean, Townsend now.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
They got Maryland, Utah, Dartmouth, Notre Dame, Duke, Syracuse, North Carolina, Drexel in the ACC championship. So still a lot of lacrosse to be played. Questions are coming in fast and furious now. This Virginia men's basketball team, how high is the limit for Virginia men's basketball?
I think most of the people that follow the program feel like that they're capable of a Sweet 16 appearance, and if you get beyond that, sometimes it's luck of the draw, sometimes it's pure luck, sometimes it's getting hot, sometimes it's something that you really can't even control. But the best thing they can do is just play their best brand of Virginia basketball and hope that the shooters and the scorers can continue to make a difference. So the defense will be there, I think, most of the time. I think the one thing about this team, the way he's constructed it, I think it's kind of built for the postseason because if you listen to the old coaches from the day that made the NCAA tournament famous, like Al McGuire and Dean Smith and some of those guys, they used to, and they would say it's a guards tournament. The guards make it happen, and certainly Virginia is well stocked in that department with guards and wings who can. Some are shooters, some are scorers, but they have a healthy supply of those, and then they can also be very physical with 2 7-footers, and then Tillis and DeRitter down in the block, and so they can hurt you in 2 different ways. But I still think it's going to be up to the shooters,
100%.
And the 3-point shot, and I think this team will go just as far as the 3-pointer will take them.
You were the first to say it. You were the first to say this months ago on the Jerry and Jerry show. Once you said it, it started resonating with me. Then I started watching. If UVA is spreading the floor and spacing the floor and connecting at even a respectable clip, I'm not saying shooting 50% from bonus sphere. I'm not saying even shooting 40% plus from bonus sphere. I think they shoot on average around 35% as a team, as a collective. Mm-hmm. If they get anywhere close to that 30 to 35%, mark or key performance indicator from downtown, the interior's much more spread out for DeRitter.
Absolutely.
And DeRitter's a guy, I love DeRitter taking a couple of 3-pointers a game, 1 or 2, but DeRitter, he takes the 3 so people respect the shot, so then he can put the ball on the floor, get to the paint, and then get to a finish by using his wide body with some kind of finish. He likes to finish with the right hand, with his body as a impediment to the defender. Mm-hmm. Jakari White, Chance Mallory. I mean, you talk about the streakiest shooter on the team is probably Malik Thomas. Some days Malik Thomas looks like a great basketball player. Someday Malik Thomas looks like a mid-major player who's now playing in the ACC.
Yeah, and if you can spread the floor too, it helps guys like Malik and Chance to drive, straight line drive, and oop it up to Grunlow or Ugo, either one of the two, or even DeRitter for that matter. And so there's a number of ways that they can attack you, but I think it all goes back to being accurate and dangerous, being a threat from the 3-point line.
What happened? You brought up Chance. What happened with Chance in the Virginia Tech game? This is the second game against the Hokies that Chance, was it Hammonds, the Virginia Tech point guard?
Yeah, Hammonds
he's a beast.
And he's really, really fast.
Really, really quick, really strong.
Yeah.
Great finisher around the rim.
Yeah.
This is the second game that he gave Chance the business.
Yeah.
He gave Chance the business in Blacksburg. In a lot of ways, they're clones of each other. What did you see with that matchup?
I think just the fact that he has a little more experience and
a little stronger.
Well, he is. I think he's stronger in that respect, more mature physically. A place that Chance will get as he continues to grow. But I think experience and that just allowed him to have an advantage, and he took advantage of it.
Chance still a hell of a year. Going into the ACC tournament, 9.6 points a game, 3.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.7 steals a contest. The Prince of the John Paul Jones Arena. If there's something that you want to focus with Chance, you have your eye on Chance. What is it?
Yeah, he's only going to get better and better. I'm going to be doing a story on Dallin Hall and how valuable he is to this team, even though he doesn't light it up, but he does so many other things. And I talked to him about Chance yesterday, and he said that it's kind of blown his mind that Chance is as good as he is as a freshman and will only get better. And I asked Chance about learning from Hall and what he's picked up under his wing. And Dallin said, he said, I've learned some stuff from Chance too. He's taught me to go for it more. And so I think they've been good for each other. But I think Chance is, I don't think anybody envisioned him having as good a year as he had. Even the people that knew what quality he was going to bring to this basketball team. He's just not your typical freshman. And I just love his aggressiveness and never backing down, never giving up, fights to the end. And we've only seen the beginning of what's going to be a great career for him.
Comments continue to come in for Jerry Ratcliffe, the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com. If you're not subscribing to the website, ladies and gentlemen, you're missing the best Virginia sports content absolutely humanly possible. Hootie, this question's come in, and this one is from West Virginia. Can you guys talk about some of the coaching changes that are happening in the ACC?
Well, I think we saw most of those coming. Damon Stoudemire at Georgia Tech's a really good guy, but I don't know how committed Georgia Tech is to supporting the NIL stuff as it needs to be. I have no idea what their budget is like. I think that has probably had some negative impact on that program. It's a tough place to win. I mean, since Bobby Crimmins, Georgia Tech hasn't been very good for the most part, and I know they made it to the Final Four 1 year after Crimmins was gone, but it was with Crimmins players. And then they won the ACC tournament sort of by default a few years ago. But it's not an easy place to win in basketball. It never has been. Crimmins is really the only guy that's had any sustained success there, and that's because he could recruit his butt off, and was a pretty good coach, but it was even a better recruiter. Boston College, we could kind of see that coming. They haven't been the same either since they got rid of Al Skinner.
Al Skinner's a great coach.
Many years ago, yeah. I don't think they knew what they had. That same AD, Flipio, I can't remember his name, but also ran off Tom O'Brien as
great football coach.
Yeah, at that time he had the highest winning bowl percentage of any coach in America.
Matty Ice.
Yeah, and so BC has struggled as well. I haven't kept up with it over the last 24 hours, but I know that Jeff Capel was on the hot seat at Pitt. There was rumors that some of the alumni were taking up funding to buy him out.
Frankly, shocked he's still employed.
Yeah, so
they've struggled significantly.
They have, and that's been a tough place to win. They had a good coach in, was it Jamie Dixon?
That's right. Look at your memory, Hootie. On point.
And, they didn't support him the way they should have. He went down to Texas.
Was that TCU?
TCU, I believe, and they haven't been good since. So be careful what you wish for sometimes when you run these coaches off. you better have a good plan if you're an AD to bring in somebody that's at least going to make you a little better, if not significantly better. And I don't know. I don't know what Autry is going on with him at Syracuse. I know he's been on the hot seat all year. Well, for 2 years, really. I think that's the extent of it.
And, if Autry was not so directly linked to the Jim Boeheim success years, he'd probably already be out of there. And,
I think you're right.
Of the programs, Syracuse is a history of success.
Yeah.
But for the most part, your analysis per usual on point. Boston College, Georgia Tech, and Pittsburgh, and this conference. It's unless they dig deep into NIL, I just don't see how these teams are going to start competing in a conference like this.
And Notre Dame, you got to throw them in there too. Even though I don't know, I guess Shrewsbury is safe, and
well, the reason Shrewsbury is safe is he's rebuilding the program with freshmen, and he's basically created a longer leash by saying I'm going to rebuild from the ground up.
And we've heard through the grapevine that their NIL packages for basketball is not up to par with the rest of the league either. So they've thrown most of the resources behind football, and reasonably so. But because they're a national name in football. And then, of course, Mike Young, before they came up here last weekend, their AD said that he would be returning next year. And I was glad to see that because I think Mike Young is a really good basketball coach.
It's a great coach.
And a good guy, even though he had his moments after the Virginia game.
I was going to ask you about that. What happened to Mike Young in the presser? First, set the stage for the viewers and listeners. He had a meltdown.
It was strange.
It's like a therapy session.
Yeah, he came in and sat down and immediately put his hands over his head like this, and we were, all the people in the peanut gallery were looking at him and saying, "That's not usual." And then he went on into what happened, and then blurted out the F word and talking about what am I doing wrong, man? And
then he described he goes, the big man 33 hits a three-pointer.
Yeah.
My 80-90% free throw shooter misses 2 shots.
Yeah.
He's like, we had this game. What am I doing? What the F am I doing wrong?
Yeah, and then he put his head in his hands again, and he kind of let out I wouldn't say a primal yell when he first put his hands in his.
I just felt bad for the guy.
Yeah, I did too, because that's not typical of him. And then he went back to normal.
I think he just got. I think he realized.
He was just really frustrated.
That's what I think. He was like in the moment frustrated. We saw a glimpse with how much he puts into the team and the program.
Yeah, he pours his heart into it.
Right, and then it was like having a really, really awful day at work.
Yeah.
Or a really, really awful day.
We've all had those moments.
We've all had those moments, and then you just happen to do it with a boatload of cameras on you and the media in front of you.
Yeah.
Like when we have those moments, there's not anybody watching. We hope there's no one watching.
Right. Yeah.
He had a boatload of people watching.
He did. He had the whole Commonwealth watching.
Yeah. So. But would you say Virginia Tech's underachieved this year?
Yeah, I think so. And they lost a bunch of close games too, which would have made a difference. They'd probably be an NCAA team if they had won. If those was like 4 losses almost at the buzzer, I think. They'd be an NCAA team had that been reversed. So I can see where the pressure would get to you, and but they're not a bad basketball team at all. I mean, they beat Virginia in triple overtime. They were down mightily to Virginia in the first half and at halftime, and still fought their way back to make it a thriller-diller at the end. And they could have swept Virginia with a little bit of luck. So I could see why he was exasperated over the result.
The reason the Virginia Tech team, I find, I'm obviously a Virginia fan here, but I can see why Hokie fans are extremely disappointed. You got a point guard that is an NBA basketball player that some are comparing to Luka Doncic, the kid from Greece.
Although he didn't show me much the other day.
He against the first game against UVA, he got banged up.
Yeah.
Late in the game, was not 100%. Against UVA, the second time, 100%. He was not what was advertised. But we see, you're a sports guy. We see 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", long arms, 3-level scorer, selfish, dribble, handles, passing ability, upside. The Hammonds kid, the stronger version of Chance Mallory, is a beast. That guy is a bull. He's a little tank. They got the guy inside that I heard on the CW broadcast is flirting with a 50-inch vertical.
Really?
That was out jumping Hugo and Grunlow for rebounds at times.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he jumped over one of UVA's players. Was it Grunlow? He jumped over.
I believe so.
I've never seen somebody jump over a 7-footer in a basketball game.
You don't see that.
What the hell?
He actually jumped over him.
He jumped over a 7-footer.
Yeah.
That was one of the most athletic things I've ever seen.
That was mind-boggling to see that.
In a game.
Yeah.
Not even like a stage environment. Like while playing a game, he did that.
That was crazy.
It's one thing to do it in a dunk contest.
I'd forgotten about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I watched it like 4 times. I like literally paused it, rewound it, got my wife. I said, "Watch this," and even my wife was amazed.
Yeah.
And they have all this talent. I see why. I mean, you talk about sports being a game of inches. If a handful of outcomes went a different way, Virginia Tech would be an NCAA tournament team and competing for a double bye.
Yeah. No question. No question. And, sometimes it bites you. And they got bitten this year. They were kind of snake bitten in close games.
Yeah, 100%.
For the most part.
This question's come in for Hootie. We get this one a lot. Going into the ACC tournament, does he still think the starting lineup that's been used all season is the right starting lineup for tournament play?
Yeah, I do. Don't mess with chemistry. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ryan told us yesterday that he even offered some of the guys, seniors on the bench, because it was senior day, that he wouldn't have any problem in breaking the lineup and starting those guys since it was senior day. And he asked them what they felt. And they said, "No, Coach, we appreciate the gesture, but let's just go with what works and what's been working, and it's okay. No, not a problem." So I think the chemistry, people knowing their roles, and being familiar throughout a 31-game schedule, I don't think you tamper with that. I think you just go with dance with what brung you.
Great question from Richmond, Virginia for you. What is more significant in Ratcliffe's opinion, winning the ACC regular season or the ACC tournament?
I've always felt like that winning the ACC regular season is much harder because it's 18 games that you got to deal with, or 20 and some in the past, or whatever the number was before expansion. But and the ACC tournament, anybody could get hot for a few nights. I mean, look at NC State a couple of years ago up in D.C. when Tony Bennett failed to foul the shooter, and they were able to send the game into overtime and win, and it ended up in the Final Four. And they were woeful in the regular season. So sometimes it used to be different because the ACC tournament champion, it won for a very long time, was the only team that moved on to the NCAA before tournament expansion happened. and a lot of really great teams sat at home or went to the NIT. When in those days, the NIT was a pretty big deal. But I think it's more meaningful if you win the ACC regular season in terms of what you've accomplished over the long haul, as opposed to 3 or 4 days in Charlotte or Greensboro.
Comments continue to come in. His thoughts, this is a good one. This is from Crozet. Ryan Odom third in the voting. You guys may have covered this. I tuned in about 10 minutes ago. Seems like he should have finished in second, especially with Virginia beating Miami. His thoughts on Odom finishing third in Defensive Player of the Year, or Coach of the Year, excuse me.
I was surprised that Lucas got more votes. He did a great job in turning Miami around. They were the worst team in the league, I guess, last year, right?
Yeah.
And Virginia wasn't much better, but the fact that Odom won more games and beat them head-to-head, I thought Ryan would finish at least ahead of Lucas in the voting. I think Odom deserved to be Coach of the Year. I can understand why Shire won it. A lot of times the guy with the best record doesn't win because he's supposed to win, and it usually goes to somebody who's overachieved. And I thought that Ryan Odom was the guy, but there's a lot of 80-some people vote in that poll, including the coaches. So it just depends on how that goes. You don't always get what you want.
William McChesney, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for watching the program. We have Jennifer Hopkins watching the program. Thank you, viewers and listeners, for watching the show and asking questions. They continue to come into the show. Vanessa Parkhill, hello. This one, has the team seemed to struggle from shooting, especially deep, of late?
They haven't been quite as consistent as they were earlier in the year, but I think part of that is because other opponents study and break down game film like to the nth degree, and they game plan to try to take your strengths away, and that's certainly one of Virginia's biggest strengths. And particularly in the ACC, you got a lot of really smart basketball coaches and coaching staffs who you wouldn't believe how much they study film and try to find anything that they can take away from you. And so I'm not surprised that those numbers have fallen off a little bit, but still I think they're going to have to pick it up a little bit now that they're in the postseason.
The importance of Jakari White on this team.
Yeah. I talked when I ran into Jakari yesterday. I said, since they're going back to Charlotte for the tournament, I said, do you feel like that you own that arena? Because that's where he hit just got blazing hot. And what it was, he's 7 of 7 from 3-point line that day, and it broke the Virginia record for most consecutive 3-pointers over a 3-game period, I guess. And he smiled and he said, "No," he said, I haven't been there enough to think that I own it, but he said, "I am looking forward to going back into that building." But extremely important because he's the guy. As many 3-point shooters as they have,
He's their best shooter.
He's the guy that can just light it up at any given moment, and he's kind of like Kyle Guy was, and when he puts one up, you think it's going in, even if it doesn't. You are pretty much anticipating it swishing, and he's that good, and he can get that hot. And should he have a brilliant postseason, then
this team is really good.
Yeah.
If this guy posts 15 points a game in the NCAA tournament or the ACC tournament, you're talking a team that goes from a Sweet 16 team to potentially an Elite 8 or Final 4 team.
Yeah, it can be.
They could catch fire.
It can be that he can make that kind of difference.
Jakari White, the standing ovation he received on senior night, or senior day with the Virginia Tech game, he's a fan favorite.
Oh, no question.
He is beloved. What'd you make of the senior festivities and the response from the JPJ?
I thought it was extremely well done. Ryan and his wife were out there greeting each family, and big senior class, with 5 guys exiting. And the JPJ crowd, I thought I thought they were most appreciative and showed their love to the players for what they've been able to accomplish this year. Just something that nobody envisioned, I don't think. I know Ryan didn't, and I don't think the players did either. I'm sure they were hopeful, but I don't think anybody expected this kind of result. And Jakari with his Army.
It was awesome.
I thought that was great, and every now and then he'll give them a salute, which makes their day. Those T-shirts are awesome. There hasn't been a lot of cult followings of players at Virginia over the years. I guess Vanderplas had his mustache crew going for a little while there, Fear the Stash.
Kyle Guy had some interest, although a lot of it was initially some negative attention with the man bun.
Yeah, the man bun.
Bennett begged him to cut it.
Yeah. But there hasn't been much along those lines. And I thought it was fun. I thought it
This is
added.
great.
You'd like to see more of that.
Personality.
Yeah.
And I love to
I don't
see
know who thought that up, but it was brilliant.
I loved the word was one of the UVA students slid into Jakari's DMs before the season started and said we'd like to launch the Jakarmi with your photo on T-shirts, and he was all about it.
Yeah, he told me he loved it.
Yeah, and the Jakarmi has grown.
Yeah.
And it went in the early season to just a couple of UVA students. Now it's significant. The depth of the Jakarmi. This expectations for Virginia basketball in the ACC tournament for you, Hootie?
Well, it's going to be interesting. We don't know who they're going to play yet. It's going to be either NC State, Stanford, or Pitt. They'll slug it out for the right to meet Virginia in the quarterfinals. And obviously, Virginia won all 4 of those meetings during the season. But I think it's set up for them to make a run to the championship if they just play their normal basketball and don't have lapses and can continue heating it up from the 3-point line. If they falter at the 3-point line, I think it puts them in jeopardy. But I expect them to be in the championship game.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's my expectation is an ACC championship appearance, and then we'll see what happens with the breaking news that happened during the show that Duke basketball is down 2 players for the ACC tourney. 5 minutes in the show. Time flies. Spring football is right around the corner.
Oh yeah. Before we get into football, I'm working on a story. Last Friday night, I had a blast going to dinner at the Aberdeen Barn with the 1976 ACC tournament championship team, and interviewed some of those guys, 3 of the starters. And
who'd you chat with?
Wally Walker.
Great guy.
Mark Alberoni.
Great guy, former NBA coach.
God, I'm drawing a blank here for some reason. Bobby Stokes, who was a freshman reserve on that team, but made a big difference in the tournament. And gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. One of their big guys, Otis Fulton.
Otis Fulton, a forward and center.
I was drawing a mental blank there for some reason.
Bob Sefik on that team.
Who subscribes to our site. So, and is a great guy. But I interviewed those 4 guys since those were 4 of the impactful players. And think just about everybody showed up except Billy Langlow. He kind of has dropped off the map, and
What's he doing?
I don't know. I really don't know. And but it was a great time. There was a lot of fun people there, and it was fun listening to some of the stories. But we'll have a blowout on that. Just the personal memories of those four guys from that night. So football. You brought up football. Right around the corner here.
Well, most important question of the day. What did Hootie Ratcliffe order at the Aberdeen Barn, one of our favorite restaurants?
I had crab cakes.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And I bet they were delightful.
They were unbelievable.
Yeah?
As always at the barn.
The Aberdeen Barn is in Charlottesville Institution. April 18th for the spring game.
Yeah, April 18th. That's about usually the same time they have it every year. Should be fun. A lot of new faces in the program. 2 new quarterbacks. Fresh new set of running backs. Some really outstanding defensive players that have come in. It'll be interesting just trying to familiarize yourself with the new faces. There's so many. There's around 30, I guess, new transfer portal guys, and then the freshman class. A couple of guys from that class, there were several of them were early enrollees. So he'll have the brunt, I guess, of his team there in the spring to get acclimated into the system. And it's been interesting. We're talking to Peyton Lewis, the speedy running back transferred in from Tennessee, from Salem, Virginia, who we were asking him about the difference between Virginia and Tennessee, and he was talking about how much harder Virginia works in the off season, which kind of surprised me. So that's I think that's a feather in the cap for Virginia's football program, is that they're a really hard-working bunch year-round. But I think spring will be fun this year because you got a lot of new guys to learn and some really dynamic players, I think.
The spring game is a chance to get to know a brand new roster for a second consecutive season, as Virginia's coming off its most successful campaign in program history. April 18th, and JerryRatcliffe.com will have all the spring football and Virginia football coverage. It sounds like you got some baseball coverage in the hopper.
Yeah, and you know, we'll have some a lot of interview opportunities throughout spring practice, so we'll be bringing you steady flow of information about the football team. Yeah, I think baseball is going to be fun to follow. Again, it's hard to get the baseball when basketball is going full-blown high gear. But the baseball team, with those 2 upsets of number 8 North Carolina on the road, was huge this past weekend. Could have won the third, really close to a clean sweep. And then the Hokies come into town this weekend. That's always a big deal. I haven't seen the weather forecast. I think it's decent, but I'm not sure. I know it's supposed to turn a little chillier sometime in
Looks good, Hoodie.
So,
I mean, good for March.
yeah.
I'll take high 50s, 60s for March.
Right. It's not bad baseball weather.
Yeah.
So, I expect it'll be a pretty good gathering at Disharoon Park.
It's going to be awesome. Viewers and listeners, football, spring game, basketball, ACC tournament, and the NCAA tournament. Baseball just knocked off, took 2 of 3 from North Carolina, a top 8 team in the country. Fingers crossed, lacrosse rebounds. The men's tennis team is phenomenal.
As always.
As always. I mean, it's an
golf team is
phenomenal.
Tremendous.
Pros, like professional golfers on the golf team.
Yeah.
The abundance of riches at this time of year for Wahoo fans is should not be discounted. And the place for all of that is at jerryratcliffe.com. Subscribe to the website, jerryratcliffe.com. It's $8 a month. It is content that you cannot find anywhere else if you like UVA sports. And I'll just be straightforward about it. It's awesome. You do a hell of a job, Hootie. I love doing the show. Can't wait to read what you have in the hopper for the rest of the week.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. We have a good chemistry, and I always enjoy this show. It's like sitting around in the living room having a beer with your friends, and we hope that's how the audience views our show.
I feel the same, my friend. I feel the same. He's a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, half a century and more covering the ACC tournament. Judah Wickower behind the camera, the Jerry and Jerry Show, archived wherever you get your podcasting and social media content, and certainly on jerryratcliffe.com. The I Love CVille Show, guys, is up at 12:30. So long, everybody. Nicely done, Hoots.